Hey everybody, so today I am working on getting my herbs cut so I can put them in the outdoor dehydrator. We got mint over here that I'm going to be cutting up. It definitely needs trimmed. And then we have sage and basil that I'm going to be working on, and potentially attempting rosemary. So these are the ones I'm going to be working on. I'm just going to be trimming them up and putting them in the dehydrator, and I'll show you what the dehydrator looks like in a little bit. Okay everybody, so here is the herb dehydrator that I have. It's one that just hangs up outside. Don't mind the fact that it's crooked. It's hanging on the only branch I could currently reach, but I had to keep it out of reach for the dogs. As you can see, it's probably about 3.5 feet or so off the ground. Once I get my garden, as you can see, kind of like my garden perimeter right here, once I get all this fenced in, then I'll be able to actually hang this up properly. But for right now, it just had to be up and away from the dogs. So as you can see, it just has these slits in it. I bought this off Amazon for $26. They're all pretty comparable to each other. I did want one that had thinner boxes though, for the herbs to go in, because I didn't see the need to have these giant big square boxes. Obviously these are still big enough. I mean, you can see my hand in relation to it. It's about the width of my hand. So it's one of those things that it's definitely still big enough to let the herbs dry out plenty. In here I do actually have some basil from the other day that I had drying out. Basil takes a ridiculously long amount of time to dry out, but I do have some basil in here that's still drying. And then down here, sorry guys that you're kind of close up to everything, I just trimmed up this sage. I do try to keep the sage leaves all relatively about the same size. Sorry, I'm trying to get to where you can actually see it. About the same size, so that they all dry at a fairly even consistency. So as you can see, they're all pretty well, that one got eaten up a little bit, but they're all about the same size to each other. So I try to trim them all when they're about the same size. What I'll do is I will just spread this out over the bottom, and to be completely honest, they do bunch up basically every single day because the wind does blow this around. It is tilted. It's not the best setup right now, but it's what I have to work with, so I'm working with it. So every day, basically what I do when I come out to water my plants in the garden, I will then go through the herbs and kind of move them around and spread them back out. As you saw, my basil was a little more spread out. I had just done that. And I'd actually just gone through, I had sage in this bottom one to begin with, and it's already dried, and I had mint up here that's already dried as well. The sage will not be staying down here. It's actually gonna get moved up here. I have learned that I need to always put mint on the bottom, because mint dries out super fast because the leaves are obviously very small, and also it can break up rather easily because the leaves are so small, and I don't want them falling through this netting into the next plant. As you can see, I have my basil underneath here. I had my mint up here originally. I had to be super careful taking it out because I didn't want my mint falling in my basil, because that would just be a very funky taste. And this is actually my last time doing it. This is the mint right here. Not very much, but still a good amount. And this was the sage. It's all dried out, and I just have them in the bags for now for storage. What I am going to do is I'm going to crush them up into more usable sizes and then put them in little jars. So next round of sage is going in, and once this next round of sage is dry, it'll also be crushed up and put in the jar with the other sage. So that's kind of just the layout right now. We'll get back to adding in more herbs. Okay, so we have a new batch of basil, new batch of sage, which you can see it's already all been pushed off to the side basically. This is the old batch of basil that's still dehydrating. And let's see here if we could even get it to focus, a whole bunch of peppermint, which again has been pushed off to one side. So this is obviously a reason why you can kind of see it here, why you need to have it flat and straight up and down and not have your herb rack off to the side, because obviously that does inhibit the drying process some. I'm going to try to straighten these out a little bit again. But to be completely honest, even if I did have it hanging straight up and down, it is going to blow all over the place, and these herbs are going to get flipped all around anyways. So like I said, it's not a perfect setup, but it is the setup we have for now, and it's what I'm using for right now. And I'm pretty happy with overall how it works, especially for being $26 on Amazon. It's also way bigger than I thought it would be size-wise. I didn't pay attention to the dimensions. You can see a pretty hilarious picture of me standing next to it on my Instagram account, Muck Boots and Motherhood, if you want to see what this looks like next to a person. So this is it for today, guys. Get the herbs drying. In the next couple days, I'll be pulling the herbs out and putting in jars. All right, you guys have a great day. Bye.